Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett. Worst to the worst, right on. Is this the worst thing that I've ever seen? Worst to the worst, oh yeah. It feels so dirty that I'll never be clean. Worst of the worst.
Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, Worst of the Worst. I'm your host, The Greg Bennett Experience, and tonight I'm joined by Tenson as we go through the movie Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Tenson, welcome back.
It's nice to be back again.
Did you think that the first Star Wars film covered on this podcast was going to be Episode 2, Attack of the Clones?
Definitely not. I thought it would have definitely been one of the original three, but it's nice to cover one of the prequels.
You're going to be covering Star Wars yet? So New Hope? No. Empire? No. Return of the Jedi? No. Sequels? No. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
It's weird because it's out of sequence, but it's the worst one, so why not start with it?
It's the worst one, I think, in the prequel trilogy, at least, anyway.
Absolutely.
What we'll do on the show tonight is run through Attack of the Clones, acting out certain scenes with their own unique voices. Pretty much every Worst of the Worst episode has been MRU style for pretty much the whole year. So I'm going to stop saying that it's an MRU version because it's just pretty much, everyone's now pretty much MRU version. We'll also give our ratings at the end. You'll notice, Tenson, that I've changed the rating categories to now be the same as the MRU categories.
I just noticed that then, actually, as you said that, yeah.
I found that the old Worst of the Worst categories were hard to explain and confusing, and now the movies will be judged on the same standards as an MRU movie. This gives us a better side-by-side comparison. I won't go back and alter any of the other ratings from the previous episodes though, as I don't believe the ratings would change much, if at all.
I'd agree here, definitely.
But before we go into the movie, Tenson, we'll do a brief introduction of our Star Wars experiences, as well as go through some box office and Rotten Tomatoes scores. So Tenson, what was the introduction into Star Wars for you, and when did you first see Attack of the Clones?
To be honest, my memory is pretty vague of when I first,
So your memory's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
Yes, exactly. I would say at some point when I was a kid, I watched the original trilogy and was so fascinated by the world and the story that George Lucas created, and it's crazy to think just the legacy of Star Wars and how massive it's become now. And I think George Lucas would never have thought that it was going to be this massive 40 plus years ago.
Especially making it, if you watch Empire of Dreams, which is the making of the original trilogy.
Oh yeah, on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Also came out on DVD with the original DVD of the original trilogy when they came out in the early 2000s. It's really fascinating.
I used to have the VHS box set of 4, 5, and 6. Amazing.
Was that special edition or before special edition?
I think it was special edition from memory.
Late 90s.
Yeah, so good.
What they had to do in A New Hope was just not even the main actors thought it was going to be any good.
Oh, definitely. And also the amount of problems and issues that came up while filming. I think there was sandstorms and when they were filming in the desert and stuff with Tatooine. And
George Lucas is apparently known for saying faster and more intense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Faster, more intense.
But yeah, my experiences with the prequels is probably about the same time as well. I sort of watched them all together, and I think, definitely, for me anyway, a massive drop in quality from the original trilogy, but I think the amount of memes and everything that came out due to the prequels is pretty hilarious.
Well, I grew up constantly getting Dad to record and watch the original Star Wars trilogy. Return of the Jedi was my favourite as a kid. I didn't see Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, until it was released on DVD in 2002. When I first saw it, I liked it without loving it. As years have gone on, my opinions never really changed. I guess I might like it a little less now. Maybe. We'll wait and see what I rated at the end of the show.
It's crazy, when I was a kid, I think I enjoyed the prequels a lot more than I do now. Like, I think I found them like fun and exhilarating, especially the lightsaber duels and the pod racing from Phantom Menace I thought was really cool. And yeah, I think, yeah, definitely my opinions have changed as I've gotten older, but I guess are nostalgic in itself, so I'll always enjoy them.
I think over the last few years, mine's actually improved. I think before, when the Clone Wars animated series was on, I think they also did a lot to kind of bring out more story from the prequels, because between episodes 2 and 3, you didn't really get to see Anakin and Obi-Wan much in this movie. But Clone Wars, you see them a lot together.
Yeah, which is what I find is missing in Attack of the Clones, yeah.
That, and that when Kenobi came out on Disney+, that's also made you go back and go, you know what? The prequels weren't as bad as I remember. No. They're not perfect, but...
And I think, like, since the sequel trilogy has come out, people have sort of developed a new appreciation of the prequels, more so because, you know, the sequel trilogy is not great.
Yeah, and the Hayden Christensen got all those for these movies is not good because it wasn't his fault.
I think, you know, the writing's pretty poor, but, like...
he did what he could.
Oh, definitely. And I think he was, like, probably a new-time actor at this point as well. Like, he hadn't been in much before Star Wars, and now, you know, this is his first major role, and I think he did a good job for what he had.
Right, let us now go through some box office and Rotten Tomatoes scores. Now, I'm only going to do episodes 1, 2, and 3 comparisons, as I might pick a movie from each trilogy to cover on the show. Original trilogy pick is going to be tough.
Oh, definitely.
So let's go some box office Rotten Tomatoes here, Tenson. For Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, the budget was $115 million, which, you know, was pretty big for 99 or 98 when they were filming. And the box office was $1.027 billion. It's about roughly $1 billion.
That definitely doesn't surprise me, because the anticipation and the hype for the prequels would have been massive at the time.
Before this came out, the only movies that existed with the original trilogy, so people were thinking this is going to be like... Massive. I'm not surprised that did $1 billion, because like you say, the anticipation was there.
Massive, yeah. And I mean, they hadn't had a Star Wars movie in, what, 20 plus years?
83 was when Return of the Jedi came out, and 99 is when this Phantom Menace came out, so it's 16 years.
16-year gap, yeah, so imagine people would have been pretty hyped at the time.
Right, so for Rotten Tomatoes scores there, Tenson, what do you think the critics gave it?
Between 60%, 65% maybe?
Critics gave Phantom Menace a 51%.
Oh, okay.
Audience, what do you think audience gave it?
73?
Man, you think real highly of the audience. Audience gave it 59%.
Oh. See, I knew critics would probably rubbish it, but audiences might appreciate it more.
I think critics were pretty much the audience in this one because they were fans themselves. Yeah. They just were disappointed because of what your expectations and realization, I think, is the thing with this. If you took it on merit of it's a good space adventure, I don't think it'd be as bad as this. But when you're going off Return of the Jedi, leave it for 16 years and come back and get Phantom Menace, you're like...
Very disappointing, yeah. I think that's why a lot of people were, after they'd watched it, were very disappointed because it wasn't held in the same regard as Return of the Jedi and the original films.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Tenson. The budget was $115 million again, so exactly the same as Phantom Menace. It's only made 3 years later as well, 2002 compared to 99. This is US dollars approx, in case anyone's wondering as well. The box office for Attack of the Clones. So it was $1 billion for Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones, $653.8 million, so almost half, just over half of what Phantom Menace did.
See, again, people weren't too hyped for Attack of the Clones after the disappointment of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it didn't get... I didn't really know anyone who went and saw Attack of the Clones at the movies because everyone had been burned by Phantom Menace.
Such a shame.
Right, so the Rotten Tomatoes scores, Tenson. What did the critics, you think, gave Attack of the Clones?
35%.
Critics gave Attack of the Clones 65%.
No way.
So 14% higher than Phantom Menace.
Wow. I'm very surprised about that.
What about the audience? What do you think the audience gave Attack of the Clones?
46%?
You think too lowly this time of the audience. The audience had a 56% rating.
Oof. I mean, I was 10% off, so it wasn't too bad.
But it's 3% less than Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Which critics were 14% higher than Phantom Menace in this, so there's a bit of a gap there.
Wow, that's very surprising.
Now we go into Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The budget was $113 million, so $2 million less than Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace. The box office for Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith is 868.4 million. So it's above Attack of the Clones, below Phantom Menace. Rotten Tomatoes scores, Tenson. What do you think the critics gave Revenge of the Sith?
78%?
Critics gave Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith 79%.
Oh.
So close.
Yeah, I knew that for this one, critics definitely would be lower than audience. I would say audience would be probably like 86%.
This one's actually quite timely for what the percentage is for this one. Audience gave it 66.
No way.
Issue order 66.
Yeah.
So that is quite timely, isn't it?
That is fitting. Very fitting. No one will probably review it now on Rotten Tomatoes to keep it at that score.
You got to, eh?
Yeah.
And anyone who tries to change it, they'll get turned on by stormtroopers.
Yes.
Revenge of the Sith, unsurprisingly, is the top rated of the original prequel trilogy. Original prequel trilogy. I mean, the prequel trilogy.
Actually, yes.
Original, different, Greg. Come on.
Avoid confusion.
If you like what you hear or have any suggestions or thoughts for us, who knows, it might be about Attack of the Clones. Well, you can contact us by going to the Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com or by going to our website nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. Nobody Does It Bennett is now also available on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, Tenson, the shroud of the introduction has fallen. Begun. The movie run has.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones from 2002.
Nobody does it, Bennett.
Right, so into the movie. Movie starts with a traditional Star Wars opening. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Actually, when the Fox logo comes up, I still think of Star Wars every time.
Oh, definitely. I either think Star Wars or The Simpsons. One or the other.
Yeah.
Or it kind of reminds me a bit of Alien as well. I think Alien begins similarly.
I never saw Alien until I was in my teenage years, so Star Wars.
It's definitely like, iconic Star Wars. And then the Lucasfilm logo.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Right, so this is followed by the opening crawl. Attack of the Clones. There is unrest in the Galactic Senate. Several thousand solar systems have declared their intentions to leave the Republic. The separatist movement under the leadership of the mysterious Count Dooku has made it difficult for the limited number of Jedi Knights to maintain peace and order in the galaxy. Senator Amidala, the former Queen of Naboo, is returning to the Galactic Senate to vote on the critical issue of creating an army of the Republic to assist the overwhelmed Jedi. Cut to a spaceship flying and landing at a docking station on the planet Coruscant. The shiny silver ship is pretty darn cool looking.
Oh, for sure.
Beautiful, the reflections and everything.
I think it's the same ships are used in Phantom Menace as well. Like, the same ships from the end when they blow up the Trade Federation and all of that. Like, very, very iconic.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Padme Amidala, former queen and now senator of Naboo, is on board. The ship lands, and the group prepare to get out, opening the doors to exit. One of the pilots exits out of a fighter with another soldier.
We made it. I guess I was wrong. There was no danger at all.
There you go. You gotta have that New Zealand accent.
Yeah. I tried to get it.
You gotta have that New Zealander doing an American accent like that.
Yeah.
It's like very Hercules like. I love it.
For sure.
Captain Typho is played by New Zealand actor Jay Lagai.
I thought he was a New Zealand actor, yeah.
Yeah, he is. Senator Amidala is coming down the ramp of the ship when there is a large explosion. Cody? The two soldiers race over to see if everything is okay. The soldier that was with Captain Typho takes her helmet off. It's Padme. She switched out with a decoy. That way the actress that was paid less would die. Padme gives up her decoy double in her arms. Cordy's eyes open. She looks up at her.
I'm so sorry, milady. I'm not sure I failed you, Senator.
Failed her? For what? Not being able to sustain a direct explosion?
Not like she had a choice or anything.
Yeah, it's like, I failed you, what? For, like, taking a bullet for me? All right. I shouldn't have come back.
This vote is very important. You did your duty. Corday did hers. Now come.
So good. Padme doesn't respond.
Senator Amidala, please. I sound like Korg from Thor.
Pretty much that's what we're going to go with, isn't it? Typho and Padme run off. R2 is also with them. Cut to the Chancellor's office. Sheev Palpatine is talking to the Jedi Council. I used his first name there. Sheev. Yoda and Mace Windu are there with a few others. It's a bit awkward as there are not enough chairs. So two of the Jedis are standing behind the other one sitting, almost like they're posing for a sports team photo.
That's so weird. I don't know how much longer I can hold off the vote, my friends. More and more star systems are joining the Separatists.
If they do break away.
I will not let this republic that has stood for 1,000 years be split in two.
Yeah, right. Good one, Palps.
Setting up his plan.
Yeah.
My negotiations will not fail.
If they do, you must realize there ain't enough Jedi to protect the Republic. We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Master Yoda, do you really think it will come to war?
The dark side clouds everything. Impossible to see the future is.
Amazing.
An alien dude shows up on the hologram communicator. He's speaking Huttese.
Send them in.
Palpatine gets up out of his chair.
We will discuss this matter later.
Padme and her posse come into the room. Senator Amidala. I've lost the voice now. Senator Amidala, your tragedy on the landing platform, terrible. Seeing you alive brings warm feelings to my heart.
Sounds like a good mix between the Cookie Monster and Yoda.
Cookies. Well, that's the Sesame Street voice actor, Frank Oz.
Oh, true. Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
maybe it is. He's also Grover as well. Do you have any idea who was behind this attack? Our intelligence points towards disgruntled spice miners on the moons of Naboo. Disgruntled spice miners? Maybe they're the postal workers of the Star Wars universe?
Could be a Dune reference there. Spice miners.
Could be. I think the Count Dooku was behind it. The alien who looks like he has a thumb for a head says how Dooku is a political idealist, not a murderer. You know, milady, the Count Dooku was once a Jedi, and was once also the White Wizard of Isengard, who betrayed Middle-earth, as well as the most evil vampire that ever was, Count Dracula. He couldn't assassinate anyone. It's not in his character.
Is it though?
That's like,
I think he's talking a bit of porkies there, Windu.
but for certain, Senator, in grave danger you are.
Master Jedi, may I suggest the Senator be placed under the protection of your graces? You really think that's a wise decision under these stressful times?
Chancellor, if I may comment, I do not believe.
The situation is that serious. No, but I do, Senator.
Well, because he put the head on her, but yeah.
Yep.
Yoda shoots Palpatine, a mad look of suspicion here. Don't act on that, though, Yoda. Disney wants this thing to go to at least episode 9.
So delayed.
Yeah.
I realize all too well that additional security might be disruptive for you, but perhaps someone you're familiar with. An old friend like Master Kenobi, and my future apprentice, Darth Vader.
That's possible. He just returned from a border dispute on Ancien.
Do it. For me, milady, please. The thought of losing you is unbearable. Is it though?
When you put the head on her? Yeah, sure. I will have Obi-Wan. Good old type. I will have Obi-Wan report to you immediately, milady. Thank you, Master Windu. Cut to an elevator. Obi-Wan is riding up with his very young apprentice, Anakin Skywalker. I say that because he keeps saying my young apprentice and my very young apprentice.
He does. I feel like no wonder he turned to the dark side. He always gets doubted by everyone.
You seem a little on edge.
Not at all.
I haven't felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of Gondoks.
You fell into that nightmare, Master, and I rescued you, remember?
Oh, yes. They both have a good laugh. Almost died.
One thing that I really noticed in this scene, how terrible the beard on Ewan McGregor is. It looks so fake. I'm so glad they got the beard right in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, much better. And also in a Disney Plus show as well.
100%.
You are sweating. Relaxed. Take a deep breath.
I haven't seen her in 10 years, Master.
The elevator makes it to Padme's suite. Jar Jar is there to greet Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Oh god, here we go.
Jar Jar brings them to Padme. It's a great pleasure to see you again, milady. It has been far too long, Master Kenobi. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Annie? My goodness. You've grown.
Oh, here comes the cringe. So have you. Grown more beautiful, I mean. Well, for a senator, I mean.
Annie, you'll always be that little boy I knew from Tatooine. Ooh, that line doesn't age well. I'm not meaning just for 2022. I mean for later on in this movie.
Yeah. What is the age difference between them?
Well, she was like 15, I think, about 15 in Phantom Menace, and he's about 7 or 8. I'd say 8 in Phantom Menace. It's only about 7 years.
Yeah.
Like when you get older, it's nothing.
No, exactly.
So he's probably about 18 in this, and she's about 25.
It just feels weird from the first one because he's so young.
Because she was 15 when she first met him.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, good babysitter kind of age compared to for him.
Absolutely.
Obi-Wan gives Padme the rundown on how he'll keep Padme safe. Padme wants to find out who's trying to kill her. Anakin promises to find out, much to Obi-Wan's dismay. We will not exceed our mandates, my young Padawan learner.
Palawan.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. Palawan, yeah. Right. Love it.
I meant in the interest of protecting her, Master, of course.
Obi-Wan gives Anakin a daddy lecture in front of Padme and everyone else. Awkward.
That seems to happen so often in this movie. Especially the first, first half hour. All he gets is a lecture from Obi-Wan.
Anakin in this is almost, I want to, help you out. I want to be this guy who helps everyone. And then Obi-Wan's like, you can't do that. We haven't been told we're allowed to do that, my young Padawan. You will learn your place, young one. Padme leaves to retire to her room. Anakin and Jar Jar have a chat.
Oh, moi, I love you.
She hardly even recognized me, Jar Jar. I've thought about her every day since we parted. Oh, boy. Mary Jane Watson. If she only knew. Oh, no. She's forgotten me completely. Well, maybe because you were 7 at the time, Anakin.
It's like she wasn't thinking about you that way?
Yeah.
Jesus. You're focusing on the negative, Anakin. Be mindful of your thoughts. She was pleased to see us. Now let's check the security. Cut to 2 people meeting by neon signs in the dark-filled skies of Coruscant. One of them is wearing Mandalorian armor. The lady tells the Mandalorian that she hit the ship, but they used a decoy. We'll have to try something more subtle next time. Damn. My client is getting impatient. Take these. And Zam a canister. Be careful. They're very poisonous. And Zam, there can be no mistakes this time.
Okay, Dr. Ropata.
Cut to Anakin and Obi-Wan in the living room of Padme's suite.
I don't like just waiting here for something to happen to her.
There's a beeping on the device on Obi-Wan's hand. What's going on?
She covered the cameras. I don't think she liked me watching her.
Can you blame her, Anakin? You were acting like a stalker creep before.
Yeah.
What is she thinking?
She programmed R2 to warn us if there is an intruder.
Cuts inside Padme's bedroom. You see Padme asleep in bed, while R2 stands idle in the room. Obi-Wan then realizes what Anakin is doing. You're using her as bait.
It was her idea. Don't worry, no harm will come to her. I can sense everything going on in that room. Trust me.
I know what's going on in there. I'm watching her. It's too risky. Besides, your senses aren't that attuned, my young apprentice.
There we go again. And yours are?
Obi-Wan looks at Anakin like, oh, don't tell me you didn't just say that. Possibly. Zam puts the very poisonous canister into a droid drone. The drone flies away. Obi-Wan and Anakin talk about how Anakin doesn't sleep very well anymore. Anakin keeps having nightmare visions of his mother in pain. Anakin says how he wishes he could dream more about Padme. The writing in this makes Anakin come across as a real creep. Obi-Wan reminds Anakin that he must be mindful of his thoughts, as he made a commitment to the Jedi Order, which means bros before hoes.
Yep.
But I like that. He made a commitment to Jedi Order. It's like either be a slave or be a slave to the Jedi, pretty much.
Exactly, yeah. That's
What choice?
Yeah.
As Anakin and Obi-Wan talk about Padme in an obvious and pretty mean way, the poison drone shows up outside the window. Like, they're talking about, senators. You can't trust her. She's a senator. And politicians can't be trusted. And, Obi-Wan's just rattling off right outside the door. It's like, all right.
So obnoxious.
You're a Jedi, but, other people can hear you. The drone uses some laser tech to make a gap in the window, while Obi-Wan talks about how bad politicians are. R2's sensors do not get alerted as the poison drone releases the canister. I actually quite like the way that that opens up the window.
Yeah, really cool.
Awesome. 2 worm centipede things drop out and crawl towards Padme's bed. As the worms crawl up into the bed, or onto the bed, not into it, they're not Anakin Skywalker, you know? R2's sensors go off and searches the room. The worm centipedes hide from R2's scan. They're very smart and they know they're get scanned.
Yeah.
R2 shuts back down and the worms continue. The worm centipedes crawl right up into Padme. When I say the worms, I keep thinking Man in Black. Hey, it's Kay! Drink some coffee, Kay! The worm centipedes crawl right up to Padme. Anakin and Obi-Wan continue their heated political debate. Anakin talks about how great Palpatine is. Then Anakin stops mid-sentence and looks towards Padme's room. I sense it too. The 2 Jedis burst into Padme's room. Anakin gets right on top of Padme and lightsabers the worms.
Yeah. He'd like to be on top of her by the sounds of things. Yeah.
Obi-Wan, being the level-headed Jedi that he is, jumps through the window and grabs onto the drone, hanging onto it while flying over city miles up in the sky. It's like, don't take risks. Jumps out a window.
Yeah. Try and catch the bloody the thing.
Anakin runs and grabs a speeder while Obi-Wan continues his reckless flight. This chase sequence is pretty cool, zooming through the city of Coruscant. First real time you get a true look of it in a Star Wars movie.
I think it's a really cool design as well, like all of the different speeders speeding around, and also just the whole Coruscant design is really impressive.
Yeah, it's so different to everything else.
Definitely.
Like, I did add it in, I think, at the end of the special edition of Return of the Jedi, when they're having a celebration scene, you actually see Coruscant.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think it's in the special edition. They might have added it after these movies. But yeah, at the end of Return of the Jedi, now if you watch it, you'll see like Coruscant is one of the places that celebrate the fall of the Empire.
I'll have to look out for it next time I watch it.
You do get a brief glimpse in Phantom Menace, but this is where you get to see its true nature. Feels very Blade Runner.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I noticed that straight away.
Highlights of the speeder chase through Coruscant include Zam using a sniper to shoot the drone Obi-Wan is hanging onto, causing him to fall for a while before being picked up by Anakin in the speeder. Anakin saying he thought he already rivaled Yoda in lightsaber skills. Obi-Wan reminds him, only in his mind, his very young apprentice.
Yeah, always the young apprentice.
Anakin and Obi-Wan flying through some weird electric current, which is kind of cool when they go through that electric. How have I told you don't? Anakin leaping out of the speeder and landing on Zam's speeder. I hate it when he does that. And Anakin losing his lightsaber after causing damage to Zam's speeder, causing it to crash. Obi-Wan catches Anakin's lightsaber while chasing after them. You even see a glimpse of Zam's alien face while being annoyed by Anakin climbing on her speeder. The speeder crash lands after Anakin gets Zam to accidentally shoot her own controls. Zam runs into a nearby nightclub / gambling establishment. Obi-Wan lands his speeder and meets up with Anakin. Anakin! Anakin!
She went into the club, Master.
Patience. Use the Force. Think.
Sorry, Master.
He went in there to hide, not to run.
Yes, Master.
Next time, try not to lose it.
Yes, Master.
Obi-Wan hands Anakin back his lightsaber. This weapon is your life.
I try, Master.
Why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me?
Don't say that, Master.
Yeah, Obi-Wan, don't be Darth.
Good one. Good one, Greg.
Can you see him?
I think he is a she, and I think she's a changeling.
Anakin has a look around for the assassin while Obi-Wan goes to the bar and has a drink. As Anakin is looking around, you can see the actor who plays Jar Jar as an extra in the club.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, I was like, oh, he looks very familiar.
I feel sorry for that guy. He got a lot of crap.
He did.
He got death threats
For his
about
character.
Jar Jar.
Yeah,
it's not
terrible.
cool. A scruffy-looking nerf herder approaches Obi-Wan at the bar.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
Hey, you don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
Hey, I want to go home and rethink my life.
I had to keep that in there. I was like, that was good. As Anakin looks around, the assassin starts stalking. You think she is going after Anakin, but instead goes after Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan turns around and lightsabers the gun out of her hand. Very much a callback to Obi-Wan Cantina scene from A New Hope.
Yeah.
Is it a callback or a call forward?
I'd say call forward, yeah. Confusing one, that one.
It is. It's a callback, but also being a call forward.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and Anakin carry Zam outside.
Jedi business. Go back to your drinks.
Obi-Wan and Anakin interrogate Zam outside. Anakin shows some of his anger issues here. He's like, tell me! Tell me! It's like, oh, easy there. As she is about to talk, she is shot in the neck by a poisoned dart. It was the Mandalorian from before. Obi-Wan and Anakin watch the Mandalorian jetpack away. Obi-Wan grabs the dart and has a good look at it. Cut to the Jedi Temple. Track down this bounty hunter you must, Obi-Wan. Most importantly, find out who he's working for. What about Senator Amidala? She'll still need protecting.
Handle that your Padawan will. No problems in future films, I see.
So good.
Anakin, escort the senator back to her home planet of Naboo. She'll be safer there. And don't use registered transport. Travel as refugees. And don't float fruit into her mouth. And don't tell her about your hate for sand.
That's coming. As the leader of the opposition, it will be very difficult to get Senator Amidala to leave the capital.
Until court this killer is, our judgment she must respect.
Anakin, go to the Senate and ask Chancellor Palpatine to speak with her about this matter. Anakin and Obi-Wan leave the Jedi chambers. Cut to Anakin talking to Palpatine. Palpatine says he'll have a wee chat with Padme. Palpatine then continues his grooming of Anakin, and congratulating him on getting his first assignment, and how in time he'll learn to trust his feelings. Then he'll be invincible. Palpatine says that Anakin is the most gifted Jedi he has ever met.
Manipulation.
Pure grooming there. It's Jedi grooming, isn't it? 101. Cut from Palpatine and Anakin walking and talking to Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Mace Windu walking and talking. I am concerned for my Padawan. He is not ready to be given this assignment on his own yet.
The council is confident in its decision, Obi-Wan.
Let's see how confident you are in about 4 years, Yoda.
Yeah.
The boy has exceptional skills, but he still has much to learn, Master. His abilities have made him, well, arrogant.
Yes. A flaw more and more common among the Jedi.
Here's a thought. How about changing things up if you've seen this? Let their confidence and emotions help guide them rather than force them to bottle them up and cause emotional damage beyond repair.
That's a valid point.
That's what kind of what Luke said in episode 8, actually. It's like they didn't have it right. They weren't right themselves. Remember, Obi-Wan, if the prophecy is true, your apprentice is the only one that can bring the Force back into balance. Cut to Anakin looking out the window at Padme's room while she packs up her stuff, preparing to leave. Padme picks Jar Jar to take her seat in the Senate for the meantime. What?
My thoughts exactly.
Makes great decisions. He got his tongue numbed from the bloody, the pod racer.
And like, after I think Qui-Gon tells him to stop touching things, he still does it.
Now you want him to speak on your behalf?
What, are you brain dead?
Meet a senator!
Ah, terrible.
I do not like this idea of hiding.
Don't worry. Now that the council has ordered an investigation, it won't take Master Obi-Wan long to find this bounty hunter.
I haven't worked for a year to defeat the Military Creation Act, to not be here when its fate's decided.
Sometimes we must let go of our pride and do what is requested of us.
It sounds very similar to Spider-Man, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
Sometimes we have to give up what's most, even our dreams.
I think that's why I'm going into the Peter Parker voice.
Why not? You know, it works here. Anakin, you've grown up. Now I will marry you and have your babies. Then I will die of a broken heart because you turn evil.
Master Obi-Wan manages not to see it. Don't get me wrong, Obi-Wan is a great mentor, as wise as Master Yoda, and as powerful as Master Windu.
If Windu was that powerful, why wasn't he the one that fought Dooku at the end?
Yes, exactly.
Just saying.
I am truly thankful to be his apprentice. In some ways, in a lot of ways, I'm really ahead of him. Alright, here's the arrogance.
Anakin starts to get angry.
I'm ready for the trials, but he feels that I'm too unpredictable. He won't let me move on.
That must be frustrating.
It's worse. He's overly critical. He never listens. He doesn't understand. It's not fair.
Such teenage angst, huh?
Yeah.
All mentors have a way of seeing more of our faults than we'd like. It's the only way we grow.
I know.
Anakin, don't try to grow up too fast. Now get into bed. Padme needs some loving. There's a callback for you.
Yep. But I'm grown up. You said it yourself.
Please don't look at me like that.
Why not?
It makes me feel uncomfortable. Wow, way to ruin the moment, Anakin.
This is so cringy.
You creep. And he's like, yep.
Sorry, milady.
Anakin gives an even creepier look towards her as she walks off. He's like, sorry, my lady. Ooh. Hate to see you go, but...
He's so seedy, honestly. Ugh.
Cut to Padme and Anakin preparing to leave a space bus. Anakin, don't do anything without first consulting either myself or the council.
Yes, master.
Interesting seeing Rose Byrne is in this as one of Padme's entourages. Knows that? Rose Byrne?
Well, I didn't notice it at all. No. Bit of a cameo.
She does because it was filmed in Australia, I guess. That's why she got it.
True.
That's why Jerry the guy got it too.
Yeah.
Anakin, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, master.
Padme and Anakin get off the space bus with all their luggage in hand. Cut to a space diner. A robot that reminds me of one of the ones from Spaceballs tells Dix that someone's here to see him. It's Obi-Wan. Dix, a four-armed alien, is an old friend of Obi-Wan and seems to be a reliable informant who just happens to run a diner. Obi-Wan shows Dix the poison dart he got from Zam's dead neck. Dix says how it looks like one from a place called Camino. Obi-Wan is not familiar with Camino. Dix says it's beyond the Outer Rim, about 12 parsecs outside the Rishi Maze. I like saying Rishi Maze.
Rishi.
The Rishi Maze should be easy to find. The Camino folks are cloners. Cut to Obi-Wan looking through the archives in the library.
Did you call for assistance?
Yes, I did.
Are you having a problem, Master Kenobi?
Yes, I'm looking for a planetary system called Camino.
Camino?
It doesn't show up in the archive charts.
Camino is not a system I'm familiar with. Are you sure you have the right coordinates?
According to my information, it should appear here in this quadrant, just south of the Rishi Maze.
I hate to say it, but it looks like the system you're searching for doesn't exist.
I mean, it couldn't be any other reason, Librarian. You might just have like a slow computer. Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
If an item does... That's fine. If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
I've used that line so many times in my life.
I think that's why I'm laughing so
Yeah,
much.
because I use it. Yeah. If it's not here, it does not exist. And then she kind of like walks away with little feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's fine. That's what we're here
Laughing
for.
fit.
That's what we're here for. Cut to Anakin, Padme, and Archer on board a refugee ship. Padme and Anakin talk about swearing your life to the Jedi. Anakin quickly talks about not being allowed to form attachments. A Jedi code is to show unconditional love, just not with anyone in particular. Cut back to Obi-Wan. He visits Yoda, who is in the middle of class with a bunch of younglings. Remember them? Don't worry, you'll see them later on. Obi-Wan says how he is struggling to find a system that doesn't show up on the map.
Lost a planet Master Obi-Wan has. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
There's too many of them.
What are we going to do? Actually, one of my in-between things is going to be on here. I've actually got Matt to go, Master Podcaster, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? Zhwong. So that'll be my in-between this.
Oh, good.
Yoda uses this as a teaching exercise for the kids. One of the younglings says that maybe someone erased it from the archive memory.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is. The Padawan is right. Go to the center of gravity pool and find your planet, you will. The data must have been erased.
But Master Yoda, who could empty information from the archives? That's impossible, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's Count Dooku, isn't it, that erases it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because he's later on, Obi-Wan's talking to Django. He's like, "Oh, did you know this Jedi that she's supposed to have the clones?" He goes, "No, I was talking to the guy called Tyrannus. I was had by him." That's actually what the name that Sidious has given Dooku.
Ah, yeah.
At the end, he goes, "Lord
Tyrannus.
Tyrannus."
Yeah. That's a Sith name. Yeah.
He's not a Darth because he's not an apprentice as such.
No.
Dangerous and disturbing this puzzle is. Only Jedi could have erased those files. But who and why? Harder to answer. Meditate on this, I will.
Cut to Anakin and Padme landing on the Boo. Padme gives some history about her time as queen. She was relieved when her 2 terms were up. Interesting how queens are elected on the Boo. Padme meets with the Queen about the possibility of a civil war if the Military Creation Act goes through. New Queen says how they must keep faith in the Republic. And that's the last time we see that new Queen, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Padme smacks down any talk of Anakin being a Jedi Master. He's only a Padawan learner. Anakin has a hissy about this, but Padme reminds him that they're on the Boo. Using her knowledge of the planet might be wise. They decide to go and hide in a remote countryside villa, a perfect place for forbidden love to blossom. We can't have any feelings. Let's go to the most romantic place in the universe.
Those scenes are the worst part of the movie. Oh, that's terrible.
And don't worry, Tenson, they're coming up right now.
Oh, no. Oh,
I got all the love scenes in there for you.
I love it.
Cut to Obi-Wan flying to Camino. This little ship doesn't have a hyperdrive, so he needs to use a Nintendo Ring Fit attachment to hyperspeed.
Yeah.
It looks like a Ring Fit.
It does. It really does. This is a cool planet, though. This is probably one of my favorite planets in Star Wars.
Beautiful. The effects to it looks really good. Holds up.
The rain and... Oh.
Obi-Wan lands on Camino, a very windy, rainy, watery place. One of the Camino aliens meets Obi-Wan inside the docking bay. Very tall and sleek-looking aliens. The Prime Minister has been expecting him. Obi-Wan is shocked to find out that his arrival was expected. After all these years, they were beginning to think the Jedi weren't coming. Obi-Wan meets with the Kamenian president, Lama Su. Lama Su says how they are on schedule. 200,000 units are ready, with 1 million more on the way. That's good news.
Please tell your master Cypherdius that his order will be met on time.
I'm sorry, Master...
Jedi Master Cypherdius is still a leading member of the Jedi Council, is he not?
Master Cypherdius was killed almost 10 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The way Obi-Wan says that, he's kind of like, Master Cypherdius was killed almost 10 years ago. Bomb, bomb, bomb! Next time on Attack of the Clones.
But I'm sure he would be proud of the army we've built for him.
The army?
Yes, a clone army, and I must say one of the finest we've ever created.
I like how the llama sounds so much like Sidious too. I like it.
Yeah. Maybe it is Sidious.
He has a mask, yeah. Tell me, Prime Minister, when my master first contacted you about the army, did he say who it was for?
Of course he did. This army is for the Republic. But you must be anxious to inspect the units for yourself.
That's why I'm here. That's not why he's here, though. We all know that. We've seen the movie. Cut back to Naboo. Anakin and Padme have reached their romantic getaway. Oh, sorry, I mean isolated safe house. Padme talks about swimming out to a nearby island every day and letting the sun dry the sand on them. Here you go, Tenson.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating and gets everywhere. One of the most iconic lines of the prequels is that, surely.
One of them. Anakin looks at Padme and realizes that the sand talk is losing her interest. So he quickly deflects to say how warm and soft and smooth everything is on Naboo. But he really means Padme's Naboobs.
I've just seen the next line in the script here. Oh no.
Anakin inappropriately touches Padme's skin. Then they kiss. Padme pulls out. No, I shouldn't have done that.
I'm sorry.
But you're not sorry, are you, Anakin? Cut back to Kamino, where Obi-Wan has won a golden ticket, so he gets a tour of Lama Su in the cloning factory. Obi-Wan is impressed. Sorry, too many chuckles in this one, isn't there?
There's some funny bits in this movie.
This is why I wanted to cover this, even though the movie is so, not seen as one of the best. It's got so many iconic lines for the wrong reasons.
It does, yeah.
It's just
they're
hilarious.
not good lines, but they've become pretty iconic.
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man 3, It's not bad, but it's not the best Spider-Man movie, but geez, it has so many great names.
Definitely.
So many. Yeah, go, buddy!
Oh, so good.
The cloners use growth acceleration to speed up the process. It takes about half the time for these clones to fully mature. They modified the clones' genetic structure to make them less independent than the original host. The original host is a bounty hunter named Jango Fett. And where is this bounty hunter now?
Oh, we keep him here. Apart from his pay, which is considerable, Fett demanded only one thing, an unaltered clone for himself. Curious, isn't it?
Unaltered?
Pure genetic replication, no tampering with the structure to make it more docile, and no growth acceleration.
I should very much like to meet this Jango Fett. The comedians agree. I don't know what their name for them was. I called them comedians.
Comedians, yeah. Comedians.
The comedians agree to set up a meet. Obi-Wan sees the clone army in all its glory for the first time. Cut back to Padme and Anakin having a picnic in a field. They get all lovey-dovey. That's until they start talking politics. Anakin says how one person should be in charge. He begins to laugh when he realizes how worried Padme looks at him.
You're always taught to not talk about politics when you're wanting to, when you like someone. Anakin's going all about it the wrong way.
Especially when she's a politician.
I know. I mean, how has he not offended her in some way?
Anakin.
Come on, George, hire a better writer.
But this bit has also become a popular meme. Yeah, the bit where it's she has to double take if he's laughing or not. Yeah. Because she's like, "Are you being serious? Are you being serious?
Are you making fun of me?"
Yeah. All these memes now come up with that. It's great. The scene ends with Anakin trying to surf on a large animal and falling off. He tries to get up, but collapses to the ground. Padme runs over, but when she goes to check on him, Anakin grabs her and they roll around in the grass. What a romantic moment. Maybe the greatest love in the galaxy.
That's an insult to Leia and Han in the original trilogy.
I mean, her kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Cut back to Kamino. Weather forecast. Wet all day.
I wonder if the sun ever comes out on that planet.
Elton John, he sings here a lot. He's like, don't let the sun come out on Camino. Obi-Wan is led to Jango Fett's quarters. His son, Boba Fett, answers the door. Short would be Bob Fett.
Yeah.
My name's Bob Fett.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan meets Jango. Jango is played by, of course, Teramira Morrison, a man who doesn't even hide his Kiwi accent. As Jango and Obi-Wan meet, Boba closes a side door behind them. Do you think, Tenson, that Obi-Wan saw the Mandalorian armor in that room before Boba closed it?
I reckon there's definitely a possibility. Or he used like his 4 senses to be able to see it. Yeah, definitely.
I think the kid going over there too kind of like directed his attention
Yeah,
to that. To
made
that room.
it pretty obvious. Like, yeah, he didn't hide the fact very well, did he?
Your clones are very impressive. You must be very proud. I'm just a simple man trying to make it in my way in the universe. Ever made your way as far as the interior of Coruscant? Once or twice. Recently? Possibly. Then you must know Master Sifo-Dyas. Jango speaks in a foreign tongue, probably telling his son to shut that damn door. Master who? Sifo-Dyas? Is he not the Jedi who hired you for this job? Jango gets right in Obi-Wan's face. Never heard of him. Really? I was recruited by a man called Tyrannus on one of those moons of Bogdan. Curious. They stare into each other's eyes for a moment. Ooh. Do you like your army? I look forward to seeing him in action on the TV show The Clone Wars, which is streaming now on Disney+. They'll do their job well, I'll guarantee it. Thank you for your time, Jango. Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
And now he told Obi-Wan to cook the man some eggs.
And he did, and they're delightful.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and the Camino lady leave the room. Jango tells Boba to pack his things. They're leaving. Cut to Anakin and Padme having a meal. This is a really romantic trip, rather than a safe house protection gig. Anakin is at the same dinner table, for God's sakes. They're having a romantic dinner of fruit for some reason. Anakin talks about how he went into aggressive negotiations. What are aggressive negotiations, you may ask? Well, it's negotiations with a lightsaber.
The negotiations were short.
So the first one, 10 minutes. More on this later. Anakin uses his Force skills to take some fruit off Padme's plate and float it back to her, impressing Padme with his mad skills. Cut to later on. It's now nighttime. There's a roaring fire going on. Padme is wearing a revealing dress. It's like, we can't be together, but I'm going to wear a dress that shows half my boobs off. I wasn't wearing this before, but now I'm wearing it in front of a roaring fire. Don't get attracted to me though, right?
Ooh. From the moment I met you all those years ago, not a day has gone by when I haven't thought of you.
I love the fact that you're like,
This is cringe to another level.
And now that I'm with you again, I'm in agony. The closer I get to you, the worse it gets. The thought of not being with you, I can't breathe. I'm haunted by the kiss that you should never have given me. My heart is beating, hoping that that kiss will not become a scar. You are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? I will do anything you ask.
sounds like a Daniel Steele novel.
Yeah.
Padme looks uneasy.
If you are suffering as much as I am, please tell me.
I can't. We can't. It's just not possible.
Anything is possible, Padme. Listen to me. Listen to me now.
Every time I say listen to me now, I've always got to put that in there. No, you listen. We live in a real world. Come back to it. You're starting to become a Jedi. I'm a senator. And we all know senators prefer escorts. If you follow your thoughts to this conclusion, it'll take us to a place we cannot go, regardless of the way we feel about each other.
Then you do feel something.
I will not let you give up on your future for me.
You are asking me to be rational.
Well, yeah.
That is something I know I cannot do. Believe me, I wish that I could just wish away my feelings, but I can't.
I will not give in to this.
Well, you know, it wouldn't have to be that way. We could keep it a secret.
We'd be living a lie, one we couldn't keep even if we wanted to. I couldn't do that. Could you, Anakin? Could you live like that?
No, you're right. It would destroy us.
Don't make me destroy you.
There you go, Tenson. The love scene in its entirety.
Oh, Greg, you should have cut that.
Oh, I made sure I got all of that.
No, quality content we need.
Cut back to Camino. Obi-Wan wraps up his visit and pops up his hood and walks to his ship. He is soaked within seconds of walking outside. I wonder how good at drying Jedi robes are.
Probably not great, I don't think. Nah.
And do you think they might stink when they are damp?
Yeah, definitely.
All that dust and dirt. Obi-Wan gets R4 to scramble Code 5 to Coruscant, care of the old folks' home. Interesting code name, Old Folks Home for the Jedi Temple.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's called Care of the Old Folks Home, and it's the Jedi Temple.
It's probably the wise aspect, so that's probably why he calls it that.
Because they're older, like Master Yoda. Obi-Wan pops up on a hologram communicator in a meditation room in the Jedi Temple. Those circle seats look comfy. No back support, though.
No.
I have successfully made contact with the Prime Minister of Kamino. They are using a bounty hunter named Jango Fett to create a clone army. I have a strong feeling this bounty hunter is the assassin we've been looking for. Well, do you think these cloners are involved in a plot to assassinate Senator Amidala? No, Master. There appears to be no motive.
Do not assume anything, Obi-Wan. Clear your mind must be, if you are to discover the real villains behind this plot.
Yes, Master. They say Master Sifo-Dyas placed an order for a clone army at the request of the Senate almost 10 years ago. I was under the impression he was killed before that. Did the Council ever authorize the creation of a clone army? No. Whoever placed that order did not have the authorization of the Jedi Council and the express authorization of the NFL.
Bring him here. Question him. We will.
Yes, Master. I will report back when I have him. Obi-Wan's transmissions. End.
Blind we are if creation of this clone army we could not see.
I think it's time we inform the Senate that our ability to use the Force has diminished.
Only the Dark Lord of the Sith knows our weakness. If informed the Senate is, multiply our adversaries' will.
Cut to Anakin having nightmares about his mother once again. Oh boy, that's an old story now. Cut to the morning, Anakin is meditating outside close to the balcony when he is met by Padme. Anakin tells Padme about the visions he's been having about his mother. She's in pain and crying out for him.
Annie.
Anakin. I should say Annie, and she.
Yeah, she's like,
Her name's Shmi.
Annie.
Her name's Shmi, like the pirate from Hook.
Ray Skywalker.
Don't even try and stop me, Shmi. Shmi, don't try and stop me, Shmi. Don't try and stop me, Shmi. Shmi, what are you doing? Stop me, Shmi. Shmi, stop me.
Such a weird name. Shmi Skywalker.
I have to do Hook one day too. Anakin has to break his mandate to protect Padme, but he has to go and save her. Padme agrees to go with him. Cut back to Kamino. Jango and Boba are preparing their ship to leave when Obi-Wan appears. Highlights of this encounter include Jango firing a rocket from the top of his jetpack, knocking Obi-Wan backwards and causing him to drop his lightsaber. Obi-Wan flying kicking Jango out of the air. You just say that's like a Street Fighter fly kick.
like,
Ha! Jango cable tying Obi-Wan's hands together to prevent him from force grabbing his lightsaber. Obi-Wan getting dragged along by the cable. Obi-Wan using the cable to wrap up Jango, knock him down and causing his jetpack to fall off and explode. And Obi-Wan knocking Jango over the side whilst cable still tied. Oh, not good. Obi-Wan getting dragged down and over the side by Jango. Jango using a retractable arm blade to stop from going over the side. Very similar to like Shredder or Batman.
Yeah, definitely.
Jango releasing the cable that Obi-Wan is hanging from. Then Obi-Wan using that cable in midair to throw it and swing it to a lower level. There's another Batman thing where he like throws it and then swings along.
It is very similar, yeah, definitely.
Good reflexes there from a Jedi.
Wow, great reflexes.
Jango gets to his ship, and it takes off as Obi-Wan arrives back. Not before Obi-Wan manages to throw on a tracking device to the ship, though, just like Batman. Obi-Wan's Batman. Simple.
I'm expecting him to put on the mask. He's the vigilante.
What are you? What's your name? Obi-Wan, but also vengeance. Jango's ship flies off. Padme's beautiful shiny silver ship arrives in Tatooine. Sorry, on Tatooine. Instead of an O, it's got a 9, so it's hard to say, but arrives on Tatooine. Anakin and Padme get off a local taxi ride and go up to see Watto, who is Anakin's slave master in The Phantom Menace. Anakin speaks to Watto in Huttese. He says he's looking for Shmi Skywalker. Anakin starts putting a part together for Watto.
Annie, little Annie.
Anakin finishes putting the part together.
You are Annie. It is you. You sure sprouted. A Jedi. What you know? Hey, maybe you could help me with some deadbeats who owe me money. A lot of money.
My mother.
Oh, yeah, Shmi.
That's right, yeah, the mother.
Shmi.
She's not a minor no more. I sold her.
You sold her?
Yeah, years ago. Yeah, I sold her to a moisture farmer named, Lars. At least I think it was Lars. Believe it or not, I heard he freed her and married her.
Do you know where they are?
Oh, long way from here. Someplace over the other side of Mos Eisley, I think.
I'd like to know.
Sure, absolutely. Let's go look at my records, huh?
It's hard to, not do that without doing Yoda.
Yes, yeah. Sounds so similar.
Cut to space. Django drops out of hyperspace by an asteroid field just before the planet of Geonosis. Obi-Wan arrives shortly after, detaching from his Nintendo Ring Fit device. Django and Son realize they're being tracked and try to lose them in the asteroid fields. The mind bombs that Django uses in the asteroid fields are really cool. The sound doesn't occur directly, it's like...
Yeah. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Cool effect, yeah. There's a bit of a cat and mouse spaceship action in this, both taking turns on who is the cat and who is the mouse. Django, in the end, fires a heat-seeking missile at Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gets R4 to prepare to jettison the spare part canisters. When R4 fires them, there is a large explosion from the missile hitting the spare parts, making Django think he blew up old Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan avoids detection by hiding on an asteroid. Han Solo tries something similar in Empire Strikes Back, but Boba Fett is not fooled by it. Maybe because he remembered here what Obi-Wan did. There's a thing in Empire Strikes Back where he pretends to hide he hides in the rubbish.
Yes.
And only one person figures out what he's doing, and it's Boba Fett.
He learned from there.
So George Lucas remembered this, went back in episode 2 and had this scene. So
That's pretty clever.
it is.
Yeah,
I like that too. Yeah, it's good. So when you go later on, it's like, of course he knows because Obi-Wan did it to him.
For sure.
Cut to Django landing on Geonosis. He goes into a hidden underground access compartment, like Thunderbirds. Obi-Wan gets off the asteroid and flies towards Geonosis. Obi-Wan notices an unusual amount of Federation ships around. Obi-Wan lands on the planet's surface and exits his ship. Cut to Anakin, Padme, and R2 on Tatooine. R2 is ordered back to the ship by Padme. Anakin and Padme arrive at the very familiar Star Wars place, the moisture farm that Luke grows up on, because he hasn't grown up on it yet. Back to the future. A silver C-3PO is there.
3PO? Oh, the Maker. Oh, Master Annie. I knew you would return. I knew it. Oh, and Miss Padme as well. Oh, my.
Hello, 3PO.
Bless my circuits. I'm so pleased to see you both. I've come to see my mother. Oh, I think perhaps we'd better go indoors.
You sound good as a robot, Tenson.
Thank you. People call me a robot at work, so I'm used to it.
Anakin is introduced to Owen and his girlfriend, Beru. I always thought it was Aunt Peru, but it's Beru.
Yeah, I always thought it was Peru too. It sounds like Peru anyway, but...
Yeah, but it's Beru with a B.
No.
Later known as Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru. Klieg Lars comes out on a floating wheelchair thing. He explains how Shmi was his wife, and that she was taken by Tusken Raiders. 30 went out looking for her, and only 4 came back. Klieg was injured. She's been gone over a month. Anakin stands outside the house tunnel, and the way his hair is makes the shadows look like Darth Vader. You notice that? His hairpiece, and they actually keep on the shadows when they're hugging and stuff because it looks like Vader.
That's cool.
Anakin tells Padme to stay here. Luke's theme from A New Hope plays here too. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
That's very cool. Harkens back to the theme in A New Hope.
Anakin goes out on a speeder bike to find his mother. While Anakin rides along on the speeder bike, you can hear Duel of the Fates playing. I didn't realize until I went back. I was like, I forgot Duel of the Fates is in Attack of the Clones.
I didn't notice it, no.
When he's on the bike, it's like...
I should just rewatch it just to see if I can notice that now.
Anakin speaks to the Jawas outside their massive desert ships. Cut back to Geonosis. Obi-Wan is still looking around the planet. He's like, can I help you, sir? No, just looking. Obi-Wan comes to what looks like to be a cave, but instead it's an entire entrance to a large droid factory. Obi-Wan then hears a man talking to members of the Trade Federation. Viceroy Gunray says that he will not sign the treaty until Padme is dead. Obi-Wan follows the people talking into a room where a group of different alien races are discussing terms to join the Separatists. Some of the groups at the meeting are the Techno-Union Army, the Banking Clone, and obviously the Trade Federation.
Oh, the transmission, sir. What are you, brain dead? I'm not going in there with 2 Jedi.
We'll do Phantom Menace one day. With their new combined forces, the Jedi will be overwhelmed.
The Republic will agree to any demands we make.
That was really good.
I tried to go deep.
It was. It was real good. Cut to Tatooine at night. Anakin is up on a cliff overlooking a Tusken camp. Anakin sneaks around the camp and cuts into one of the tents with his lightsaber. He finds his mother tied up inside. Anakin frees her and holds her in his arms. She embraces him and tells him how proud she is. Now she's complete. Shmi dies in Anakin's arms. This sends Anakin into a violent blood rage. He exits the tent and starts cutting down Tuskens with his lightsaber. Yoda can sense what is happening in the meditation room in the Jedi Temple. You can even actually hear Qui-Gon Jinn's voice in this moment, going, Anakin! Anakin! Through the Force.
I think this is like a real important scene for his transition to the dark side as well.
Oh yeah, pretty much first time you see him really go dark. Like he's, earlier on he's complaining, but he's not dark.
Yeah, no, just wanting revenge.
You hear like the Imperial theme quite a lot in this as well.
For sure.
But like, yeah, I love the part when you hear Yoda's like sensing it and you actually hear Qui-Gon's voice. I didn't notice it until like, I think I was listening to the commentary or had it on subtitles once and it said Qui-Gon.
Ah.
So it's actually his voice going, Anakin! Anakin!
Wow.
Mace Windu enters the room. What is it?
Pain, suffering, death I feel. Something terrible has happened.
You can hear the Imperial music in this moment.
Dun, 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 dun.
Young Skywalker is in pain. Terrible pain.
Cut back to Geonosis. Obi-Wan is back on the ship. He is looking at the damaged comms. The transmitter is not working, but we're not receiving a return signal. Coruscant's too far. R4, can you boost the power? We'll have to try something else. Maybe we can contact Anakin on Naboo. It's much closer. Anakin! Anakin, do you copy? This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Obi-Wan Shinobi. That's someone else. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin. It's the way he's just the whole thing, How many Obi-Wans does he know? Is it like John on Coruscant? He's not on Naboo, R4. I'm going to try and widen the range. I do hope nothing's happened to him. A bug guy shows up from a cliff overlooking Obi-Wan's position. That's Anakin's tracking signal, all right. But it's coming from Tatooine. What in the blazes is he doing there? I told him to stay on Naboo. We haven't got much time. Obi-Wan sends a message to Anakin. Anakin, do you copy? This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin.
Who else would it be?
How many Obi-Wans does he know? Cut to Tatooine. R2 unscrambles and receives Obi-Wan's message. Anakin arrives back at the moisture farm with his mother's body. Cut to Anakin tinkering in the moisture farm workshop. Padme brings in some food for him. Anakin talks about how life seems so much simpler when you're fixing things, but the conversation soon takes a dark turn.
Why did she have to die? Why couldn't I save her? I know I could have.
Sometimes there are things no one can fix. You're not all powerful, Annie.
Well, I should be. Someday I will be. I'll be the most powerful Jedi ever. I promise you. I will even learn to stop people from dying.
Anakin?
It's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's jealous. He's holding me back.
What's wrong, Annie?
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women and the children, too.
I love it. That's what he's like. And not just the men, but the woman and the children, too. He says it really emotional.
Yeah. They're like animals, and I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Sorry, I should be laughing at this.
Yeah.
That's where the Imperial music kicks in.
Yeah, when you hear it full on. Yeah.
You're like, ooh.
So good.
Padme thinks it's over for a moment, shocked by what she's just heard. She then gets down and sits next to Anakin. To be angry is to be human. Seriously, Padme? He just told you he killed women and children, and you're like, oh, well, it means you're human. Man, I hope he doesn't go and kill any younglings later on.
Ooh.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
Cut to Shmi's funeral outside. Anakin says how he wasn't strong enough to save her, but promises he won't fail again. R2 shows up saying he has a message from Obi-Wan. Cut to Anakin and Padme back at the ship. Padme has changed into her white jumpsuit. They listen to the message from Obi-Wan. They pass the message on to Coruscant. The Jedi's and co are all listening in Chancellor Palpatine's office. At the end of the message, Obi-Wan is attacked. Mace Windu tells Anakin to remain where he is, protect the senator at all costs. They will send a rescue for Obi-Wan. Padme argues they'll never get there in time. Anakin says how he's got strict orders to stay. Padme corrects him, saying he has strict orders to protect her, and she's going to Geonosis.
Dun dun dun.
Anakin smiles as they prepare for their mission to save Obi-Wan. C-3PO joins R2 on the ship. In a way, he just took the robot, like, you know, it was Shmeez, I guess, but he's just like, yeah, I'll claim it now that she's dead.
It's my robot.
Cut back to Coruscant. They are discussing the Separatist movement and how Count Dooku must have set it all up. They discuss getting the Senate to vote for the Chancellor emergency powers so that he can get the clone army dispatched immediately. They need a senator to propose such a radical amendment. If only Senator Amidala was there. Jar Jar is in the room, who has occupied her seat while she's away. It's like Palpatine is dropping breadcrumbs for him.
Really, very much so.
Cut to Geonosis. Count Dooku goes in to see Obi-Wan, who is suspended in the air in some sort of shield prison where he cannot move.
Just the...
He's like spinning around.
Yeah.
He's like looking at Dooku the whole time. It's like spinning around.
So
He's like,
weird.
I'm spinning around. I'm going to look at you still there. Traitor.
Oh, no, my friend. This is a mistake, a terrible mistake. They have gone too far. This is madness.
I thought you were the leader here, Dooku.
This had nothing to do with me, I assure you. I will petition immediately to have you set free.
Well, I hope it doesn't take too long. I have work to do.
May I ask why a Jedi Knight is all the way out here on Geonosis?
I've been tracking a bounty hunter named Jango Fett. Do you know him?
There are no bounty hunters here that I am aware of. The Geonosians don't trust them.
Well, who can blame them? But he is here, I can assure you.
It's a great pity that our paths have never crossed before, Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you. I wish he was still alive. I could use his help right now.
Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you.
Don't be so sure, my young Jedi. You forget that he was once my apprentice, just as you were once his. He knew all about the corruption in the Senate, but he would never have gone along with it if he had learned the truth as I have.
The truth?
The truth. What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's impossible. The Jedi would be aware of it.
The dark side of the Force has clouded their vision, my friend. Hundreds of senators are now under the influence of a Sith Lord called Darth Sidious.
I don't believe you.
The Viceroy of the Trade Federation was once in league with this Darth Sidious, but he was betrayed 10 years ago by the Dark Lord.
This part is pretty clever. Just like we discussed in The Frighteners, Dooku is explaining what the audience saw in The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
So it's all a matter of opinion. We've seen this happen, so like maybe the voice story and stuff is actually
In it,
on
yeah.
board. Yeah.
Or at least linked to Palpatine, and yeah.
He came to me for help. He told me everything. You must join with me, Gandalf. You must join with me. You must join me, Obi-Wan. And together we will destroy the Sith.
Would have been interesting if Dooku and the Separatist movement weren't actually in league with Sidious. Could have created a third party that could have been potentially wiped out due to the fact that the Jedi and the Republic, not under Sith control, didn't want to ally with them. But nope, just a pipe dream. Because it would have been cool if he was a third party and he was actually speaking the truth. And if they combined forces, then Sidious wouldn't have actually had power, but they refused to.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
All right, George, you should have had that idea.
I will never join you, Dooku.
It may be difficult to secure your release.
Dooku walks out of the prison room. Cut to Coruscant. Mace Windu walks into the Senate chambers and joins Yoda as they watch Jar Jar make the plea on behalf of Padme
This is such a joke.
to grant Chancellor Palpatine the emergency powers he needs to get the clone army certified as Republic soldiers. The Senate erupts in applause.
I love democracy. I love the Republic. The power you give me, I will lay down when this crisis has abated.
The Senate cheers and applauds. Yeah!
And with my first act with this new authority, I will create a grand army of the Republic to counter the increasing threats of the Separatists.
The crowd applauds again. Yeah!
I will also swear not to have this army turn on the Jedis in a moving montage in about 3 years' time.
Crowd applauds.
So this is how liberty dies.
Thunderous applause. That's a great line, though. from the
It
film.
is, yeah.
It is done, then. I will take what Jedi we have left and go to Geonosis and help Obi-Wan.
Visit? I will. The cloners on Camino. And see this army they have created for the Republic.
Cut to Anakin and Padme arriving on Geonosis. They dock on a steam vent of some kind. Padme says to follow her lead. As a member of the Senate, she is looking for a diplomatic solution. Anakin says not to worry, as he's given up trying to argue with her. Anakin and Padme open a nearby door and go through it. C-3PO and R2-D2 argue with each other back on the ship. R2 decides to follow Anakin and Padme off the ship. 3PO hesitantly follows. Anakin and Padme get attacked by some bug guys, and Anakin slaughters them like animals. Then runs with Padme out of the room. They are perched on a walkway looking down on the droid factory. Padme loses her balance and falls into a conveyor belt. Anakin jumps down after her. Highlights of the droid factory include Anakin lightsabering bug guys while dodging machinery. Padme dodging machine stompers like a Crash Bandicoot video game. C-3PO showing up and being knocked onto the factory conveyor belt by R2. R2 jetpack flying around. Padme being pushed into a great melting pot. Big enough to take the world. Oh, it's got 3PO getting his head knocked off and having his head and body split up and replaced by droid parts. Anakin force pushing objects into bug guys, similar to what Vader does to Luke in Empire.
Yes, yeah.
Anakin getting his hand trapped in some metal casing. Maybe a sign of what's to come later. Padme almost getting liquid hot metal poured on her, but saved by R2. And Anakin having his lightsaber broken while his hand is trapped.
Oh, not again. Obi-Wan's gonna kill me.
Anakin and Padme are surrounded by bug guys and destroyers, or known also as droidy cars. Django is also there.
How's the bug these days?
There we go. Popping ahead and free as a bird. Cut to a whole swarm of bug guys flying into what looks like a big bug coliseum. Anakin and Padme are being prepared to be brought out to die horribly. But not as horribly as we're about to by this next love exchange.
Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid to die. I've been dying a little bit each day since you came back into my life. Oh, God.
What are you talking about?
I love you. Anakin is taken aback by this. Like, huh?
You love me? I thought that we had decided not to fall in love, that we would be forced to live a lie, and that it would destroy our lives.
I think our lives are about to be destroyed anyway. Our confidence much, you know?
Yeah.
I truly, deeply love you. And before we die, I want you to know. Padme and Anakin kiss as the cart they are on is led out to the Bug Coliseum. There are some posts in the middle of the arena that Anakin and Padme are chained to. Obi-Wan is tied up there as well. Oh, there he is. Padme puts a clip in her mouth as she is being chained up. I was beginning to wonder if you got my message.
I retransmitted it just as you had requested, Master. Then we decided to come and rescue you.
Good job. I love that. Good job. So good. It's a great line. Even though so many bad lines in this, but there's a couple of Obi-Wan moments like that. And also when he goes, possibly. That when
Possibly. Oh, yeah.
you're more in tune with your force powers? Possibly. It's just great timing. Just
Definitely. Comedic timing in a way. Yeah.
yeah, and it works.
Yeah.
Count Dooku, Viceroy Gunray, Django, and the Bug King are all watching. 3 large creatures are brought out to the arena. One is a 3-horned bull-looking thing that is about 20 times larger than a bull. There's also a long-limbed prey mantis-looking thing. And by comparison to the other two, a smaller-looking wolf dog with hedgehog spikes. For pretty much all this, they call them like bull creature, prey mantis creature, and wolf creature.
Yeah. It works. Yeah.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Someone always says it in the Star Wars film.
Yeah.
The animals are herded towards Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan. Just relax. Concentrate.
What about Padme?
She seems to be on top of things.
Oh,
yeah. Another great pun.
Another fun.
Anakin looks over to see Padme had climbed to the top of the pile. Gladiator Arena creature battle highlights include Obi-Wan dodging and being accidentally freed by a prey mantis creature, Anakin leaping up on the bull creature's back and using some of its horns to break his chain, wolf creature being chain whipped by Padme, but then wolf creature does scratch Padme on the back, which makes her scream. The scream sounds like she enjoyed it though. She's like,
It's not a weirdly sexual way.
It does, yeah.
It's
She's
so
like,
weird.
oh, it's like, Anakin knows what to get her for Christmas.
It's her kink.
Yeah. Anakin falling off the bull creature and getting dragged by his chain. Padme swing kicking and hurting the wolf creature. Obi-Wan grabbing a bug guard spear and flinging him off his horse bug. Anakin retaming the bull creature. And then Anakin using bull creature to kill wolf creature and having Padme and Obi-Wan jump onto. Droidy cars are then rolled out into the arena. Mace Windu shows up behind Dooku and the gang and pulls out his purple lightsaber. First time you see it, actually, in Star Wars.
It is, yep, the scene.
It's a beautiful lightsaber. Putting its beam under Django's throat.
Master Windu, how pleasant of you to join us.
This party's over. A whole bunch of Jedi start showing up over the arena.
Brave, but foolish, my old Jedi friend. You're impossibly outnumbered.
I don't think so.
We'll see.
Mace Windu moves his saber away from Jango's throat as multiple B-2 battle droids approach him. Jango uses a flamethrower, so Windu blocks their shots, then joins the other Jedis in the arena. Obi-Wan and Anakin get thrown lightsabers. C-3PO is also out there, still with his head removed from his body and replaced with droid parts. Jedi action scenes happen. That's what I put here. That's why I put was Jedi action scenes happen. One useless Jedi tries to attack Dooku but gets shot by Jango. Must have skipped lightsaber laser blocking day because he didn't block a single shot.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's like the guys in episode 3 who go to Palpatine's office.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of them get killed with one shot
Yeah.
except for Mace. Like, what are they training these guys?
Terrible.
Jango tries to cheaply attack Mace Windu, but he ain't having none of that. Jango then gets trampled by the big bull creature, damaging his rocket pack again.
Twice now, yeah.
Jango does end up shooting the creature dead, though. Mace then charges at Jango, blocking Jango's gunshot and chopping off his head. So long, Jango.
Yeah, it's the end.
That's the end of Jango as we know it, and I feel fine.
Maybe it's Uncle Bully got his revenge.
Anakin and Padme use the cart they were brought out on earlier as cover.
You call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations. Haha, call back. Here we are.
Yep.
Oh, this love's forever. Obi-Wan chops the legs off the praying mantis creature, then delivers a killer thrust to its head. Brutal. Sad that all these creatures had to die. It wasn't their fault. R2 pops C-3PO's head off the droid body and drags it away, and towards 3PO's prone and headless body.
Oh, I'm quite beside myself.
The puns, eh? The puns. The Jedi's form a circle as the droids start to close in on them.
Master Windu, you have fought gallantly, worthy in the recognition of the archives of the Jedi Order. Now it is finished. Surrender, and your lives will be spared.
We will not be hostages to be bartered, Dooku.
Then I'm sorry, old friend.
The droids point their guns at the Jedis. Suddenly, a whole platoon of shops fly in.
Shops.
Kmart, warehouse, Walmart, all fly in. Suddenly, a whole platoon of ships fly in. It's Yoda and the clone army. The clones protect the Jedis. In this movie anyway. The Jedis get on the ships and take off with Yoda and the clones. 3PO gets all repaired. Boba grabs his dad's helmet and puts his forehead against it. Pretty sure Jango's head is still in that helmet.
Yeah, no. Oh,
Ugh.
awful.
Cut to Mace Windu in one of the clone ships.
If Dooku escapes, ready more systems to his cause, he will.
Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan are in another ship. They approach some of the Trade Federation's large machines.
Aim right above the fuel cells.
The ship does aim above the fuel cells, and the large machines go crashing down. Good call, my young Padawan.
Again.
Windu gets off his ship and decides to run with some clone commandos, while Yoda orders to be taken to the Ford Command Center. There are some impressive machines in this battle. Quite impressive. Meanwhile, back in the bad guys' headquarters,
My master will never allow the Republic to get away with this treachery.
the Bug King gives Dooku some designs that the Jedis must never get their hands on.
The Death Star.
Dooku says he'll take the designs to Coruscant himself, and like you said, Tenson, the designs are of the Death Star. All the bad guys flee as the droids continue to get pummeled by the clone army. Dooku gets on the speeder bike and heads off towards his ship. The battle continues. Obi-Wan spots Dooku speeding off with 2 security bots. Dooku orders his security bots to attack the ship our heroes are on. The ship gets hit and Padme falls apart.
Falls off.
Yeah, it's really fall out. The ship gets hit and Padme falls out. Anakin wants to turn around and get her, but Obi-Wan says how Anakin must use his senses. What would Padme do in his position?
She would do her duty.
Yoda feels something in the Force. He gets Commander Cody to bring him a ship. But I noticed that the other day. I didn't really notice it so much when I watched it. But you notice he looks away and kind of like, oh, something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, and that's why he goes.
Yeah. But not Windu. He's like, nah, I'm too busy hanging out the commandos.
Yep.
Dooku reaches the location his ship is at. Obi-Wan and Anakin follow.
You're gonna pay for all the Jedi that you killed today, Dooku.
Come on, Anakin. It wasn't like they were younglings or anything.
Yeah.
We'll take him together. Go in slowly on the left.
No, I'm taking him now.
No, Anakin, no! Anakin walks face first into some Force lightning. Whoops. Obi-Wan now has to face Dooku alone.
As you see, my Jedi powers are far beyond yours. Now, back down.
Dooku throws some Force lightning Obi-Wan's way, but it's blocked. I don't think so. Obi-Wan and Count Dooku duel with lightsabers.
Master Kenobi, you disappoint me. Yoda holds you in such high esteem. Surely you could do better.
The saber duel continues. Cuts to Padme waking up in some desert sand. One of the clones comes over to Padme, and Padme orders the trooper to get a transport so they can get to the hangar that Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin are at. Weird that a senator can order troopers around. What? Cut back to Dooku and Obi-Wan. Dooku knocks down Obi-Wan, hurting Obi-Wan's arm and leg. Anakin leaps in to stop Dooku from finishing Obi-Wan off.
Brave of you, boy.
Obi-Wan force calls his lightsaber.
But I would have thought you've learned your lesson. I'm a slow learner.
Anakin! Obi-Wan throws Anakin his lightsaber. Now Anakin has double saber action.
Grievous. Although Grievous had 4, didn't he?
Hello there. Yeah.
Hello there.
Dooku quickly cuts one of the sabers down. Anakin and Dooku dance fight for a bit before Dooku cuts off Anakin's hand. Yes, just like Luke in Empire. Then there is a shadow at the door, along with a tapping sound. Yoda has arrived.
Master Yoda.
Count Dooku.
You have interfered with our affairs for the last time.
Dooku uses his force powers to throw large objects at Yoda. But come on, please. Yoda is too good for that.
He's too powerful.
Powerful you have become, Dooku. The dark side I sense in you.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi. Even you.
Dooku zaps lightning Yoda's way. Yoda sends it back like a badass. Yoda even absorbs the second dose of lightning. He's like, I'll take that.
Yep.
Much to learn you still have.
It is obvious this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with the lightsaber.
The moment has arrived. Yoda's lightsaber fight. I like how he just uses the Force to pull out his lightsaber.
Yeah.
The duel itself is interesting. Yoda jumps around like Kermit the Frog, very fast.
Yeah. It's just bounce, 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 bounce.
Very fast he is.
Very fast.
It's unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah.
Fought well you have, my old Padawan.
This is just the beginning.
Dooku uses the Force to crush and knock down a massive metal pillar that is on course to crush Obi-Wan and Anakin. Maybe Yoda should have led him.
Yeah.
Could have solved some problems. You lose Obi-Wan, but you also lose Anakin. Yeah, fair trade-off.
Yeah.
Instead, Yoda uses all his powers to stop the pillar, while Dooku flees on the ship. Padme arrives, but she's too late. So Padme starts shooting at Dooku's ship as it flies into the sky. It's like, yeah, your little handgun's not going to take down a ship, all right?
No, exactly.
Dooku's wind sail ship in space is pretty cool. Like, he has like a wind sail. It comes
Yeah.
up.
It's almost like a parachute.
Or a jellyfish as well.
Yeah.
Cut to Dooku arriving on Coruscant. The very red and dark side looking part of Coruscant.
Yeah.
I guess there's like very dark side looking.
Yeah.
When Dooku gets out of his ship, he is met by Darth Sidious. This is going to be a challenge for you to see if you can get out of Dooku and Sidious together.
The Force is strong with us, Master Sidious. Welcome home, Lord Tyrannus. You have done well. I have good news for you, my lord. The war has begun. Excellent. Everything is going as planned.
Nice, that was good. Very well pulled off there. Very well pulled off. Cut to the Jedi Temple. Obi-Wan and Mace Windu are gazing out a window. Do you believe what Count Dooku said, Sidious? It sounds like he's talking to Sidious.
Yeah.
Do you believe what Count Dooku said? Sidious controlling the Senate. It doesn't feel right. Yoda speaks. Wait. Didn't even know he was there.
Join the dark side Dooku has. Lies, deceit, creating mistrust are his ways now.
Nevertheless, I feel we should keep a closer eye on the Senate.
I agree.
This is one of the few times ever that I've heard Yoda speak normally.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually say, agree I do. He says, I agree.
Ah, interesting. Yeah.
Where is your apprentice? On his way to Naboo, escorting Senator Amidala home. I have to admit that without the clones, it would not have been a victory.
Victory! Victory, you say? Master Obi-Wan, not victory. The shroud of the dark side has fallen. Begun, the clone war has.
Cut to a shot of the platoons of clone troopers marching onto ships on Coruscant, with Palpatine and his people watching on, a sign of things to come. You can actually see Jimmy Smith's character of Senator Bail Organa. He looks worried. He looks away like, oh god, what have we done?
What's the plan?
The Imperial March theme plays.
That is cool. I like the ending.
Yeah, you know what's coming when you see all that. No?
Yeah, definitely.
Cut to Anakin and Padme getting married at their love shack on Naboo. C-3PO and R2 are there as witnesses, I guess, because no one else is there.
Yeah, exactly.
You see Anakin's new robo hand grab Padme's. They kiss. Again. They then look out to the water, similar to how Luke and co look out into space at the end of Empire.
True.
End of movie. The Tenson, we got through it.
Very nice. Very good.
Now that we've gotten through the movie,
Good.
let us go to our ratings for Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Master Podcaster, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?
Right, so we've done our ratings now for Attack of the Clones, Tenson. For story, what have you given it out of 5?
I've given it a 3. I really enjoy aspects of the story. I think like the whole build up to like the end is pretty cool. But I think all of the stuff with Padme and Anakin really drops it for me. I think it's just very tedious and just cringy and just, I think, very poorly written. Once you get past that and they actually get on Geonosis is when the story gets better for me.
Fair enough. I have also given it a 3. I think the overarching story itself is actually quite good.
Yeah.
The creation of the clone army is very interesting. And how they kind of bring them in, because you always like with the droids and stuff, how they kind of bring in the clones or the stormtroopers. So it's actually quite interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of things like the whole Padme Anakin storylines. A lot of it's boring.
But it seems like such a drag to, because, you know, you have all this Anakin Obi-Wan scenes at the start, and then it seems like such a drag to get back to that again. Like, you have to get through like an hour and a half of the movie, and it's like, nah.
Yeah, the start and the finish of the movie are the best parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the middle is pretty poor.
Right, for acting, I have given it, Tenson, a 2 out of 5. I think it's not all their fault, a lot of the way the script is, but the way they've been told to act.
Yeah.
Like Hayden Christensen has been told to like not. He's always been told to be a Jedi who doesn't show emotion, so sometimes it will burst out, but most of the time he's very wooden and very two-dimensional. Not his fault, it's the way he's been directed, but it's still not great. The reason why I gave it 2 and not 1 is I still think Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is great.
Definitely.
He's still the best part of it. Count Dooku's alright. Even likes of Mace Windu is not that great. He's not very emotional. He's kind of boring. Yoda's Yoda, so you always enjoy him. But yeah, nothing's really great about the acting in this.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Django's terrible as well.
Yeah. I think, yeah, the acting's one of the worst parts of the movie. It's not great.
No. So what have you given it, sir?
I've given it 2.5. To be honest, I think, yeah, Obi-Wan's probably, Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan's one of the best parts of the movie. Also, Ian McDermott is Palpatine. I think he's amazing. He's probably one of the best parts of the prequels by far.
But he's not in it much.
I know, that's the thing. The scenes he's in is like one of the most memorable.
What about the Liberian? It does not exist.
She should get a mention, yeah.
And Dex as well. Obi-Wan, sit right down. I'll be right with ya.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, I think Hayden was not great, unfortunately. But yeah, I think as you said, it's the script that they were given was pretty poor in itself.
And I think Hayden's a lot better in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, definitely, he improves a lot.
How well it holds up, Tenson? What have you given it?
I've given it a 3 here. Some of the CG still holds up pretty well, but others I think looks pretty poor. Jar Jar doesn't look great. Aspects of the CG still hold up, but yeah, a lot of it doesn't, unfortunately for me.
That's fair. I have also given it a 3. I think some of the action scenes actually look really good. The effects and stuff actually hold up surprisingly well. Yeah, some like things look pretty digital as well.
I think Geonosis definitely does. Like that planet looks very fake.
Yeah, it's so cool. Some things do feel kind of blue screened or green screened, I guess, at this stage.
I think Camino is like the best looking planet in the entire movie by far.
So it doesn't look horrible. It just doesn't look as spectacular as it could have. Like this is made after, well, around the same time, but it came out after Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings looks way better.
Oh, definitely.
Same kind of budget too.
Exactly.
For music, I have actually given it a 4 out of 5. I think a lot of things are the same as the previous movies and stuff, and there's a couple of themes, like I think this might be the first time they have Armadillo's theme.
Oh, yeah.
The love theme between them.
Yeah,
And
that's one of my favorite themes from all Star Wars.
Yeah, so I think the music's pretty good. The only reason it doesn't get a 5 is because they do recycle a lot of the scores from previous films.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've also given it a 4. The love theme between Padme and Anakin is beautiful. I just wish it was for a better relationship.
This was a love that He expanded the galaxy.
Maybe John Williams should have written that theme for Han and Leia in the original trilogy. Yeah, I've given it a 4. I think, yeah, as you said, it's definitely rehashes a lot of the old themes, which is kind of a bit of nostalgia. I think 4 is what I'll settle on.
Visuals, how good it looks. What have you given it?
3.5. Again, this kind of probably goes into more of my how well it holds up as well, like the points I said there with, I think Camino and Coruscant look amazing. Definitely the whole design of Coruscant was done really well as Camino with the rain and the waves and very, very cool. I think some of the other planets don't look as great for me, like Geonosis, which is why it's pushed back the score a wee bit. But yeah, 3.5 for me.
Fair enough. I have given it a 4 out of 5. I think visually it looks pretty good, especially the action scenes.
Oh, definitely.
And the lightsaber battles.
There's one thing I will give the prequels is the lightsaber battles are a lot better.
They have the best lightsaber battles in all the 9 episodes, so it includes the sequels as well.
Absolutely.
Like these 3, by the time they get to Revenge of the Sith, it's just nuts.
Yeah, improves.
That Anakin Obi-Wan fight in episode 3.
Amazing.
It's
Yeah.
one of the best duels I've seen on screen for anything. Not just like lightsabers, but also like I've never seen like guy fencing like that or fighting like pirates or anything like that. It's just amazing the way they choreographed that whole thing.
For sure.
Really good. So
I would agree with that.
right, so let's go through what we've given here, Tenson. For story, you gave it 3 and I gave it 3. For acting, you gave it 2.5 and I gave it 2. For how well it holds up, you gave it 3 and I gave it 3. For music, you gave it 4 and I gave 4. We're very much similar in all this.
Yeah.
And visuals, how good it looks, you gave it 3.5 and I gave it 4. And you know how similar we were? You gave it a 16 out of a possible 25 stars and I gave it a 16 out of a possible 25 stars.
Oh, wow. Very, very much the same.
Which gives us a total of 32 out of 50 stars. Woo, not bad.
Where does that leave it?
On the worst of the worst charts, let's have a look and see where that fits. Right, so 32 stars is actually equal with Batman and Robin.
Oh, wow.
6 equal on the worst of the worst rankings. Got to remember, worst of the worst, the less the score, the higher you're up. So you want to be higher, obviously, the more numbers. So in 6th place is pretty good because in 1st place is Mortal Kombat Annihilation with 15.5 stars. 2nd place is Alien Resurrection with 24 stars. And 3rd is The Amazing Spider-Man Rise of Electro with 26 stars. So to get 32 stars out of 50, it's pretty good. It's not as good as Spider-Man 3, which is on 37 stars, and that's in now 10th place.
That's just a much better movie, though.
Men in Black International was 33.5 stars, is in 8th place, well now 9th, I should say. Jurassic Park 3, 33, and then Batman and Robin and Star Wars Attack of the Clones, 32 stars, so they're in 6th equal. Just as where I'd put it, because, it's not a complete disaster of a film.
No, it just could have been much better.
Yeah, just not as good as what some of the other Star Wars are. If you like what you hear or have any suggestions for us, who knows, it might be about Attack of the Clones. Well, you can contact us by going to Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com or by going to our website, nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. And Nobody Does It Bennett is now available on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Any final thoughts, Tenson, before we go?
I think Attack of the Clones is a fun movie if you can get past all of the cringy romance between Padme and Anakin. Like, I think there's definitely some good stuff. I just think that the movie sort of lacked direction. Like, there's not a clear focus. And I think there's little seeds that get planted about Anakin's turn to the dark side, which doesn't feel as powerful because of the lack of direction, even for me. But yeah, I mean, if you look past that, then it's a fun movie.
Attack of the Clones, for me, is the worst film in the prequel series.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
A strong argument can be made for Phantom Menace, so people are like, well, Phantom Menace is actually worse. Personally, I think Phantom Menace is saved by the character of Qui-Gon Jinn and the whole end lightsaber battle with Darth Maul.
See, Darth Maul's so wasted for me. Like, I think I would have liked to have seen him be like the main villain in this one.
Well, he does come back. Like in the Clone Wars, he comes back. And he also, at the end of Solo, if you haven't seen the end of Solo, he shows up in the end credits or right at the end of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
So he's still around in the universe.
Yeah, oh, good.
The pod racing sequence is pretty cool too in Phantom Menace.
Definitely.
Anyway, Attack of the Clones is interesting as the overarching story and action sequences are top notch, but the way some of the characters are written makes some elements very subpar and criminally boring.
Yeah.
It is obviously not the worst film I've ever seen, but it is a long way from the top of my Star Wars list. I'm glad we didn't rate it so low to the fact that it was, otherwise that would ruin my whole speech there.
Yeah, imagine that.
Tenson, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you had fun.
Great as always. Thank you.
I've got a sinking feeling you might be back next week.
Oh,
Take that as it may. Yeah. And thank you for listening. Remember, some others may do it better, but nobody does it better. Take care. Woohoo.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad. Then nobody does it better.